Good, thanks, Rob. Okay, welcome everyone to our planning board meeting for Tuesday, September the 6th. Our call to order. Declarations of conflict of interest. I see none. Okay, thank you. Approval of the agenda. Okay, moved by Councillor McCabe, seconded by resident member Paul Connolly. All those in favor? It's good, that's everyone, thank you. Adoption of the minutes for the meeting on Tuesday, August the 2nd. I'll need a mover and a seconder, and then we can talk business. Okay, moved by Basil Hambley, seconded by Bob Kenny. All those in favor? Good, thank you, everybody. And is there any business arising from the minutes? Good, we're off to a good start. I see none. Okay, reports. We'll start with 6A. It's a variance for 29 Bayfield Street, PID number 356469. And I believe, Emily, you've got the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think this thing's working. On. Okay, so so it's a major variance request, and it's meant to permit a 408 square foot rear addition and 2 new dormers atop of the existing dwelling on this property. In order to achieve this, they need to have a major variance to reduce the side yard setback requirement from 6 feet to about 1.6 feet. Just to orientate you to this property and the existing dwelling, it's located on the north side of Bayfield Street, just west of Queen Street. The official plan designation for this property is medium density residential, and the same applies for the zoning. No heritage designation applies to this property, but it's the understanding of our department that the existing dwelling was constructed in the 1890 to 1900 period, based on the records that we do have. And it was constructed with a deficient lot area, frontage, front yard setback, and west side yard setback relative to our existing requirements for single detached dwellings. So it's considered legally non-conforming with current requirements. In terms of adjacent lots, they're occupied by a blend of uses. There's an auto body shop just to the immediate west. There's some single and 2 unit dwellings, and then the elementary school to the south there. And a mix of zoning applies to these properties too, with R3 zoning applying to properties to the east and west, R2 zoning applying to the properties to the north, and institutional applies to the property to the south. So this is an image of the concept site plan that was submitted by the applicant. So you can get, well, can't see it so well, but it is an attachment to your report there if you want to have a closer look. But you'll see the rear addition is kind of the striped portion to the back, and then the new dormers, they're just to the south of that, atop of the existing dwelling. The existing parking requirement, or the requirement, will be maintained. That's 1 parking space for the single detached dwelling, and they'll maintain the single detached dwelling type as well. Here's some concept elevation drawings as well, so you can see that larger portion at the rear that's being proposed, and then the dormers on the side. And here's some rendered views. So the gray is the portion that they're proposing for the addition. And then you can see the little dormer windows just adjacent to that. So in terms of our analysis, we did not receive any objections through the public notification process. We did receive 1 email of support though. And in looking at this proposal relative to official plan policies, we see various areas where it conforms with our official plan. So it's considered infill development that maximizes the use of existing infrastructure and underground services. It's located about 275 meters north of the 500 lot area, so in proximity to employment, our public transit, community services, and facilities as well. The proposed footprint, height, and massing does continue to be harmonious with the surrounding neighborhood, that low density character that exists there. So in that sense, it's supported by the official plan. In terms of the west side yard setback, the dormer will be contiguous with the existing setback, and then the addition will be kind of inset by 3 feet, so it's a bit of an improvement relative to the existing west side yard setback. On the east side, the addition will be set back about 5.5 feet, so this is greater than the setback on the adjacent lot, where there's a shared property limit there. We expect the impact on abutting lots to be limited, with the facing condition being generally consistent with dwellings in the surrounding neighborhood. And again, the parking requirement would be met through the proposal. So that kind of concludes our commentary. If you folks have any questions, please bring them forward. Sorry, and my recommendation is to approve, subject to conformance with the site plan drawing that you folks have in your package there, showing the dormers in the addition as well. And the applicant is here if you folks have any questions.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Emily. Yeah, so great report. We do have the applicant here if need to be, but I think they're interested in just seeing what's happening and not necessarily want to speak unless we have a question for them. But so we'll open the floor up. Any questions, concerns? You have one, Councilor?
Not a concern or a question, more a comment. I mean, I think it's a nice downtown location. It looks good. I have no problem supporting your recommendation to approve, so I would put the motion on that we would accept the approval.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to approve staff's recommendation of the major variance, and a seconded by Councilor Yankoff. Any other questions, concerns? I guess I would just have one, and that would be there's the trees at the back are not being cut down or anything. We're keeping.
They haven't shown that on the site plan. Whether we could ask for clarification from the applicant on that.
I see the lovely canopies there. I'm just
Yeah.
wondering if we're going to lose any of that.
Yeah, they're showing that.
I think
Pull
they
up
were
the
on
site
there,
plan
I
again.
think, yeah.
It does show there is some trees in the rear. I'm just not sure how much might be removed in the process of the addition. One sec.
As we're trying to keep our trees, right?
For sure.
Right.
So they're showing those 3 trees
Yeah.
in the
okay.
rear.
That's good enough. As long as it shows them there, I'm quite pleased. And there's nothing to do with fire code as far as the west side, not. I guess, right?
Right.
No
So
extra-
the next step, like if this is approved today,
Right,
it'd
it
go
would
to
go-
building
okay.
and development permit.
Cool.
So the building inspector could apply like through building codes. There's unobstructed openings, like for windows or the cladding requirements. It might be upped because of the proximity
Right.
to the
Okay.
the lot line. So that'll be determined.
Part of the process. Okay,
Yes.
Thank you very much. So we have a motion on the floor to accept staff's recommendation. All those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. Would be everybody. Oh, okay. And there's nobody against. Thank you very much, everyone, for that. Emily, great report as usual. And Robert, rezoning of 210 Malpec Road, PID 388298. It's all yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the request tonight, there's kind of 3 parts to it. So I'll just start off with the first part. The existing lot itself, located at 210 Malpec Road, is Moore's Drilling Business. So presently there is an office there and a warehouse to store drilling equipment. The owner is looking at subdividing approximately 1.9 acres off of the total lot, which is just a little over 7. And he's looking at rezoning the portion of the drilling business, which will be subdivided from CDA, which is the Comprehensive Development Area, and also the Comprehensive Planning Area for the official plan designation, to an M1 and industrial, so light industrial zone. So it kind of fits the nature and the use of his business. So basically tonight, the request is to amend the official plan designation of the property and amend it to industrial, and also amend the zone from CDA to light industrial. And then that will follow with a subdivision application. The residual parcel will still be a little over 5 acres, which is great because according to Section 45 of the zoning development bylaw, any portion of lot must maintain at least 3 acres in size. So the residual lot, which would be the remainder, which would retain the CDA zone as well as the comprehensive planning area zone in the designation, would remain as such, and it would be 5 acres, so it meets that minimum lot requirement. And it would remain in basically a holding pattern until such time that either he sells it or he comes back in the future down the road with a comprehensive plan for the entire lot. So the owner was looking at multiple options. He did meet with staff. Staff advised that the drilling business has been there for a number of years. In this case, he's seeking to construct a large accessory building to store additional equipment related to the drilling business. So instead of him going through, as you guys know, the CDA zone amendment process, so even to construct an accessory building or an addition, if it's substantive enough, then you have to go through basically their whole rezoning process. So his intent is basically to just subdivide the existing drilling business off so that he can construct his accessory building, rezone and redesignate to industrial, and then the residual will remain as CDA until the entire parcel comes in with a plan to be developed. So that is the parcel that is under consideration. Is located in the northwest corner, and he is planning on putting the accessory building just to the south of the existing building. So just to give you an idea, this is just kind of a quick schematic that I drew up, kind of showing what the subdivision would look like, so the drilling business, and that is basically the portion of the lot that would be rezoned to light industrial and redesignated to industrial. So it would only be that portion of law in which he has the existing drilling business on, and in which he is in the future going to be constructing a detached accessory building. And there is the proposed site plan showing basically the lot boundary itself of kind of how he would subdivide that 1.9 acres. And as you can see, he has the proposed large accessory building to the south of the existing business itself right there. So that is kind of what the proposal is. And as such, staff is recommending that this application just proceed to a public consultation, a public hearing at this time to elicit feedback from the public. And then at that time, we will come back with a formal recommendation. And I can take any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Robert, the detailed report. Any questions, folks? It's to go to a public consultation for rezoning and redesignation. So I think at this point, I believe it's pretty straightforward. So, Councillor Yankoff would like to ask a question.
Just to quote Councillor McCabe a few minutes ago, I don't have any questions or concerns. I was just going to move that we move it along as staff's recommendation was to council for final approval for public consultation.
Thank you very much. So we have a mover. Do we have a seconder? Oh, question for Bob Kenny. That happened, yeah. We go to the public meeting first, yeah. And then they'll be advised a certain time to when to have a letter in, right? Okay, do we have a seconder? Paul Connolly, okay. So the motion's on the floor. All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be everybody. Okay, great. Thank you very much. That will move on to council and then to a public meeting. And just to back up a little bit, I'm so excited to do planning. I forgot to mention that we have a pretty good celebrity guest with us here this evening. She's been a former employee with the city. She brings with her vast knowledge of how the city works and the people that are in it. So I'd like to welcome Sue Fraser to our planning board. She's filling in for Donna this evening, who couldn't make it, and she's also observing. So welcome very much. Thanks for coming on board. Appreciate having you.
From your description there, Mr. Chair, she must walk on water as well, doesn't she?
We sure hope she will.
I also like to manage expectations.
Well, welcome, though. Love to have you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so introduction of new business?
Can I just bring up, I know we all received an email today from a resident, to just further to our information session we had on the official plan, planning start that's coming ahead, just with some idea around making sure, again, that we're reaching out in many different ways to connect to people to educate them about that the official plan's coming. And, you know, our website's there, and that's great, but just she had some good points in her email to maybe consider when we're really trying to get valid input and participation from our residents, that we pay attention to some of those recommendations.
No, it's a good point, well made, and I believe at our meeting there, our update last week there, I think it was made quite clear that there would be various pop-ups throughout the city to engage the residents. We're going to have a couple of public meetings. We start one on this Thursday, I believe, right? A virtual one. So I think that's the reason for this marketing company, is to make sure they engage with the residents, and just not the residents, but business stakeholders of all types within the city of Charlottetown. And that's very, very important that we get that feedback.
Yeah, and plugging into different ways to do that. So not just through social media and stuff, whether they're Guardian or CBC, or we get people on board to just really promote it, because it is, as we know, a very important plan.
Yeah, and they have plan on meeting with different organizations as well, nonprofits and business alike, which was nice to hear as well. So we're going to, you know, I felt pretty confident that the public will have lots of opportunity to engage. Councillor Yankoff.
Just to build on what Councillor McCabe said, I didn't see, and maybe I missed it, I didn't see any notification for the September 8th virtual.
It's on the website.
Yeah.
And
I didn't see anything on.
we all got emails,
Yeah.
but
But what about the public? How would they?
I'm not sure.
I do believe there was like
Something.
tweet that went out, or, you know, whatever, public and service
Yeah.
announcement. But again, not everybody is engaged. And I think a lot of people that would be really wanting to be engaged might not be engaged in our social media.
Yeah.
And I know we're looking always at revamping our website, because you have to have a master's degree to navigate that
Yeah.
in website navigation, because it's challenging. So, you know, it's just breaking it down simply so that people are aware of what's coming.
And I think this first one, I think was, purposely made to be virtual for those people that do watch the websites. And then for those folks that don't, there'll be the opportunities to engage in public meetings and with stakeholder meetings. And then also them couple of pop-ups, I believe one was Victoria Park, and there's going to be another one. And those are going to be heavily advertised, I believe. It's just that because this was virtual, that they just went to the virtual world to kind of reach out to those folks for this present one. And I think, they expect councillors, I think they sent it to us, they expect us to tell our residents too, I think a little bit, when you get the opportunity to talk or to our residents. So, I feel pretty confident that this will be, there's going to be lots of good comments coming from this, and I think there'll be lots of opportunity. Councillor Bob Kenny, resident member.
Yeah, just a question on swimming pools and the fences, the bylaw. That's done, I take it? Is that complete now?
As far as I understand it is,
So is that bylaw being enforced now?
it's stayed the way it is, right?
Right,
Right, fence is there, and,
right.
yeah. So, as far as I know, it just, we just resort back to the bylaw of where it is, it's staying the way it is.
So, okay. All
Okay,
right, thank you.
Thank you.
The enforcement piece would probably
Yeah, that's gotta
be,
go, yeah.
we still haven't gotten our summary ticketed fencing, so there is a process that, I think, legal process that has to be followed at this point for people that aren't enforcing our bylaw.
Yeah.
We're not changing our bylaw.
Yeah, and that's in discussions right now. Like, we've been pushing for summary offense ticketing for some time now, right? But, it has to be, it's a provincial body as well as us, have to be all on the same page, so that when these incidents that happen where it doesn't follow bylaws, then there's no big discussion to it. You just go over and give them a ticket, and you just keep ticketing them until they meet the bylaw. And that's what we're shooting for, right? 'Cause right now, we really don't have the backbone, as you will, right? We have the bylaw, but you know, the summary offense ticketing along with the backing of all the other provincial bodies will all fall into suit then, right? So that we can go to bat on these things.
Okay, thank you.
Chair,
Yes,
do you think we can get someone from planning to resend us out that information for the September 8th virtual meeting?
Mr. Forbes just walked in, maybe I'll ask him the question. So
So that I can share it with my ward? Because I can't find. I
the
guess I
September
missed it.
8th virtual meeting, the question was, Alex, what information was given out to the folks about the virtual meeting that's happening Thursday? And could we get it resent out to the council so we can let our residents know?
We can, hopefully.
Come in just a little bit too quick. Anyway, I'll look for it too, see if I can find it on my phone, and if I have it, I'll forward it to you. But we certainly can get it resent again. Yeah, I think Ellen, would have been under, I'm sure Ellen sent it, I think. Yeah. Okay, outside of that, any other new business? I see none. I need one more motion. And that's to adjourn. Moved by Councillor McCabe, seconded by Basil Hamley this time. All those in favor? Thank you very much, everybody. Enjoy your evening. Meeting adjourned.